President Akufo-Addo has plans, in fact, great plans of making Accra the cleanest city in Africa. Well, let's just say that's a promise he has made to all of us, and we all, like all the other promises they've made, are looking forward to fulfillment of those. Today, I have the man he appointed to be in charge of delivering on that promise in my studio. Mohammed Adjei Sowah is mayor of the city. We're going to have a very quick chit-chat with him. You're welcome, sir, and thank you very much for your time here on the show.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with a reintroduction of the town council or the Sama system. Where are we with it now?
Well, thank you very much. When you talk about sanitation and managing it in the city, for me, I'm looking at 1, education, 2, enforcement, 3, infrastructure, and the broad strategies also to collect it. So Sama is under the enforcement bed.
Okay.
When I assume of it, I realized that there's low morale on Sama. I also realized that we don't have the people with the right skills and orientation also to do their work. And over the years, they have not also been doing their work very well. It's taking a bit of time to recruit and reorient the staff. And last week, we launched the Sama concept, which we call the sniper enforcement.
That's the new name?
Well, that's what the public health director wants it to be called, But it says that every Wednesday, go on a full onslaught, but every day they will go and do the Sama. So we've deployed them into the system, and they are working in the various sub-metros. Indeed, this Saturday, when we did the national sanitation, we zoomed to Okanshi, and more than 150 people were summoned, and they will have to appear in court. But it is not only, the enforcement does not only end with the Sama, because when you issue the summons, we need the support also of the police, and then they will be taken to sanitation courts. Because when you take them to the normal courts, which is the magistrate courts, the magistrates are not properly oriented to discharge, fast-track the process.
Okay.
But we have sanitation courts in Accra, 1 at Abeka, 1 at Latebekoshin, Community Center, Ajabin, and then we have an uncompleted one also at Circle. At the moment, as I speak to you, we have almost finished with the renovation of the Ajabin sanitation courts. We've also done the same to Community Center. We've left with the Abekan and then the Latebekoshin. As for the second one, is uncompleted, and we are hoping that we'll start the process hopefully by next week.
Okay.
So with the Sama, the law enforcement of it does not only end with the Sama. It goes to the court. Exactly, and then people. In fact, just today, Kankwe South, 6 people were picked, and they were taken to the Ajabin courts. They have been fined 480 Ghana cedis each for open defecation. So we are on course.
I see. It's very interesting. I would have loved to see pictures of how did it happen. They were picked up for open defecation.
Yeah.
Along the beaches, or
no, not in the beach.
I mean, how did it happen?
Open drains. In fact, what we have done is that we've commissioned our task force to go around and also to arrest people who openly defecate, and also those who also litter the streets of Accra with a heap of refuse. Let me go back a bit. If you look at the motorcycles, the tricycles that are operating in town, they are the cause of the major problem that we are also confronted with.
You mean those who take the
exactly.
rubbish?
They go to your house.
Right.
They take your refuse.
And then they collect
rubbish. But where does it end? Do you know where it ends?
Well, the system should make a place
I'm just asking. For them. I'm just being curious just to ask.
Well, I, as a Ghanaian who has been paying tax, will expect that there is a place designated for them to put it.
Exactly.
Which comes back to you.
That is assumption. That is assumption that everybody writes on, but that's not the case oftentimes, and it brings a major problem. What I assume of is, I realize that there are more than 42 unauthorized refuse dumps in Accra, and you will see refuse everywhere. As I speak to you, we've closed down more than 20 of that, unauthorized refuse heaps, including the one just opposite the Legon, the University of Ghana, Legon, Upclose Junction. Okay. We even wrote a letter to the University of Ghana that if they don't, that's their property. If I come there to take over by, constructing a house on it, they will stop me. So they have to make sure that they protect their property. Today, they have fenced the place, and they want to make sure that they protect their property. So that's the problem also we are confronted with. We are calling on people to also assist.
Let's look at something that we can easily measure, if I could put it that way. What do you intend to achieve with this program? All of the programs that you started, what is the goal? What do you intend to achieve in the next 1 year?
The goal is not just to make Accra clean, but the cleanliness should beautify the city. For me, that's it. And one of the ways of making Accra clean is to beautification. Because, look, I see pictures on social media. Most of them are old pictures, though. You go and take a picture. But if you go to the city center around 5 o'clock, after people have closed from work, the refuse is evacuated from the market and they bring it to the roadside. That is not a good practice, though, but that has been a practice over the years. So, and then we collect it from there. But the following day, you go there and it happens again. So it has been the practice all the time. So when you drive around the city around that time and you see filth around that area, you take a shot, post it on social media as if every picture that you have, if it is yesterday, the refuse has been collected. But you will see another refuse there today. And that is what we want to stop. To make sure that the refuse where it is generated, it does not end up on the street.
Okay, so let me get
before
I want us
to its final destination.
I want us to list it. One of the easiest ways that we can measure and actually say that, okay, we have achieved some progress is when we have, we have achievable targets, or we have a particular target, something that we're looking out for. So
you need to understand.
So hold on, sir, for me. What I understand from what you have just said is that you want to make sure that we don't have those pockets of rubbish that we have, we see in our markets. And
Not at all.
Okay, so that's 1. 2.
No, we also want to, and we can do that. It's important that you explain things to the general public, because if you narrow it like that, you think that it is easy, but not. We are facing serious infrastructural problem.
Right.
When we collect refuse from here, it has to go to as far as somewhere in Sawan, where we call the place in Somia, or to Pong, to be able to dump and come back. By the time you go and come back, it's night time, so you're unable to go like twice. Then we want to construct additional transfer stations. That's what we call an intermediate storage facility in the city that can take a lot of refuse and then to be cut to the final disposal site. And we want to construct 2 additional ones. We've supported Zoom Park to construct one at Achimota. The challenge that they have also there, they are also not operating in the night. We are insisting that it should start operating in the night for 24 hours so that if refuse is collected in the night, you will be able to go and dump over there. We want to construct additional 2 transfer stations to be able, so that within the city, anytime you collect refuse, you will be able to go to a shorter distance, go and dump the refuse and come back again.
Are we still dumping refuse in Tema?
We should have, yes,
we're still dumping
refuse in Tema.
So what is the plan for Accra?
The plan for Accra is that Accra cannot have a landfill site. Because we don't have the land to have a landfill site. That's why we want to rather construct the intermediate storage facility, which we call the transfer station, that will take the refuse. The ultimate is on how to use the refuse or the waste that you generate, either waste to energy, how that we want to recycle it, But these are long-term plans. We are talking about very short and medium-term plans to be able to arrest the filth in Accra.
But recycling has been something we've on the table. We've spoken about it for many years now. I mean, at this point, shouldn't we really have a plan, a real plan about recycling? Because if you say it's a long-term plan, it's as if we're not ready for it.
What I mean by a long-term plan is that at the moment you want a destination where, a shorter destination where you can go and dump your refuse and come back.
Okay.
That is what is needed immediately.
So that's what you're focusing on.
It's very important we focus on that. With regards to recycling, it comes down also to attitude. Today, in the waste that we have, the only waste that is removed from the whole gamut of waste that you have is the metal waste, because of the scrap dealers around. So you will not see any metal in the waste that you find.
What's the recycling
but the rest
plan?
of the waste is. And 2, when it comes to a recycling plan, I mean, since I assumed office, I've had not less than 20 investors that have come wanting to do recycling.
Okay.
Unfortunately, their proposal is always a copycat. You know, something that is happening around somewhere and then you wanted to do
what's
it
wrong
right
with
here.
that?
The problem here is that in the first place, you don't sort out your waste. You mix all your waste. You mix your fufu, your banku, your plastic waste. You mix everything together. Yeah. So how do you do waste separation? That is very important. I went to Ridge Hospital and I found out that they do waste separation there, which is so important. Okay. You want to start something and pilot it at Kwame Nkrumah Circle and see how people are going to respond to that.
When is that going to happen?
No, we are looking at this year because with the whole Kwame Nkrumah Circle enclave, you know, it's a major transit point, and we want to make sure that we beautify that place.
We're in the 8th month. You said this year.
We are working with UCS. There's a company there already that needs our backing, just to make sure that we have enough security and janitorial, workers over there to ensure that all these things are done over there.
What's UCS?
That can be done. UCS is a company that is involved in janitorial services, security services, and some of the.
So you
be managing. In fact, they are doing the landscaping at Flagstaff House. They say they are doing the landscaping also at the.
But by the time you leave the studio, people want to have a certain comfort, in the assurances. I mean, it's one thing.
The assurance that we are giving.
Hold on for me, sir. Okay. It's one thing for the president to say that we want to make Accra beautiful, etc. And it's another thing. We know the problem is a daunting one. But when you leave here, people want to be sure. I mean, people want to hear the plans. What we're doing. We've spoken about the recycling. You said you're giving yourself up until the end of this year. Is that correct? We're already in the 8th month. Can you be a little bit specific? When
I talk about recycling, I'm talking about the waste sorting at the domestic level. Yeah. And not a recycling plant that we go to.
What are you doing about that?
What I mean by recycling is that, you should have litter bins that are unique for a particular type of waste.
Right.
Waste sorting is what I am talking about.
Okay, how do you intend to? This is not a practice here. And I studied in the UK, and in the UK, you go to Ghanaian homes and you still see that they mix up. Even there, they mix it up. Where I lived, if you mix your waste up, it will be left as it is. Yes. The waste managers won't pick it up. Yeah. So how are you going to bring this not known to our culture? How are you going to bring it, into society?
I am happy. I'm happy you are raising this matter because that comes to education. And anytime we are giving such a platform, I always thank the media house that gives us a platform. That we have made sanitation issue very topical and we are talking about it, so that Ghanaians and city dwellers more especially will become aware and will become conscious of the environment. That is extremely important because it is the decision of the people that you will change the whole thing. So we want to make sure that the city dwellers' attitude also change. But more importantly,
how are you doing that? That's what I want to know.
One of it is through this platform that we are engaging for people to understand. Behind me, you can see a lot of refuse there.
So if I don't invite you,
can I finish? Yeah. I don't know
where we got this
picture from. But certainly it shows a certain filth.
And we can get the same pictures from so many other places.
It shows. No, I'm not saying it. You are reading my mind. It shows a certain filth in Accra.
Okay.
And people are becoming aware of the hazards this
I keep urging him because I don't want us to mix the issues up. I want us to be clear exactly on what we're talking about. First of all, I wanted to know what the plan is, what you wanted to achieve with the Samasaman and the Town Council thing in the next year. I wanted also to find out the recycling plan that you mentioned. When exactly is it going to start?
I did explain to you about this, and I took my time to explain to you in detail where we have started from and where we are heading. I told you that we've recruited or rent them, we have deployed them, we have also made sure that we are renovating all the sanitation costs to make sure that we prosecute offenders and for it to deter people from doing that. So as far as I'm concerned, with the enforcement bit, I've gone through everything to explain to you what it means and what we are supposed to do.
No, I wanted to find out what we intend to achieve.
What we intend to achieve is to ensure that we deter people from littering the streets.
Right.
And, to make sure that you are responsible for the waste that you generate.
Okay,
that is the first thing what you want to do.
Recycling, sir.
The second thing is it's not about recycling. The second thing I wanted also to achieve is to make sure that everybody has a storage device or equipment in your home. Because once you generate waste, where do you dump your waste? You should also have a storage device at your house. So very soon we are coming back, because I'm told by my predecessors that, look, they've once distributed litter bins. People use the litter bins to do to store their water. People use the litter bins as laundry basket and all kinds of things. We're going to do it once again, label it, and then marry it with the enforcement bit to ensure that you should have a litter bin, and by law you should have a litter bin also in your house. If you don't have a litter bin, we will find you and prosecute you.
You started a new sanitation day program. There was one before that was started by the Julius Deborah, who was then at the Ministry of Local Governance. Now, how different is it from what we had before?
What the difference is that we are married with enforcement, and that's why this very Saturday we deploy all our summer group, and at Okanshi alone we're able to issue summons to about 150 people who had opened their shops, and where we also find filth around it. So that is the difference, and I am calling it more of an enforcement day more than going out. I'm not
cleaning.
I mean, why should I just be going around to be cleaning your house for you?
Okay, so your focus is not to clean, but to enforce and make sure that people who are living in clean environment.
To make sure that we have a clean environment. So whatever means it will take me to have a clean environment, either enforcement or cleaning, I am going to make sure we do that.
The silting the Korle Lagoon is one of the things that you actually started with. You were very busy with that. Where are we?
Well, I mean, we continue to desilt the Korle Lagoon. It's important that I also explain to you about something. I was born and bred in Bokum, so I know the environment very well. All the major drains in Accra ends up in the Korle. So you ask yourself, the tertiary drains that we have, what is in it? Is it water? If it is water, it will end up in the Korle. If it is boiler, it will end up in the Korle. Our drains are also choked with boiler, and that's what ends up in the Korle. So we continue to desilt the Korle just because we also put the filth in the tertiary drains, that is small drains, and comes over there. And that's what we want to prevent. Once we continue to do that, it will also have a dredging the Korle Lagoon. It's more of a Ministry of Works and Housing contract that is extended to dredge matters that is doing that.
But it's linked to flooding.
Of course, we are the primary beneficiary of it because we are managing the city. So we are indeed monitoring the process, and they are doing it. But
are we at a place? Let me come in with this. Let me come in with this. Are we at a place? Are we at a place where we can confidently say that should there be a flood like we saw the other time that claimed so many lives in Ghana, that we won't have that situation, that unfortunate situation recurring?
Well, at the moment we are, but you may not tomorrow. And what happened on June 3rd was a natural disaster. Apart from the flood, also what came out, with the fire outbreak, and then that also engulfed the whole area, and a lot of people, 155 people lost their lives out of it. We want to also extend our condolences to the bereaved family. And there are many people who also survived with, various degrees of wounds that we are also taking care of them at the moment. It's important we look at that way. But there are major problems with flooding. And let me also explain something to you. In city management, the major drains are not under the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. They are either under urban roads, hydro, all under Ministry of Works and Housing. They are supposed to be responsible for some of these things, but nobody knows, and then AMA has become the attack. But that's not the case. If you look at Odo, where the Barclays Bank, the Ghana Commercial Bank is, the drain from Asylum down, that goes through Ghana Commercial Bank into the Odo. The drain is connected straight to the Odo. So anytime it rains and it's even half full, the water from Asylum Dam that goes through Ghana Commercial Bank bounces back. This is clear engineering defect. At least if you are able to curve it a bit, it will flow with the water. This is clearly engineering defect. So anytime it rains, you realize that places get flooded. It is just because the water cannot go into the main Odo that links to the river. That's a problem we are facing also in Accra. So we are also working closely with the Ministry of Works and Housing to renovate, to make sure that we expand the drainage network that we have. We have a project called ASDAP, which I am aware that the Minister for Works and Housing, Honorable Atachian, is very passionate about it and is working so hard about it that by the end of his tenure, hopefully, we should be able to change the whole drainage system in Accra. That is very important, and that would significantly resolve a lot of the problems of flooding matters in Accra.
One of the major problems, in which you just mentioned, is planning, and how we're planning, or we have planned the city. A lot of people have said that there is no plan for Accra, especially. We also know that at some point the previous government wanted to go on this house numbering project. Can you tell us how far with that and planning, what you're doing about it?
Thank you very much. And I want to talk about planning and linkage to the house numbering. But with regards to planning, I agree with you and I share your sentiments that, since I'm a student of local government administration, so I understand what local government is. It appears to me we are re-centralizing the decentralized system. You have the district assemblies that under the Act 940 now, the Local Governance Act, with all the powers, but there are some powers also at the top that are not allowing full operations of the district assembly, and also some agencies that are supposed to be working. Let me ask you a question. When you are in UK, in London, the mayor of London is fully in charge of the city.
Right.
Is the mayor of Accra fully in charge?
You tell me.
Thank you very much. So that's where the problem is.
Are you saying you are not in charge?
You are fully in charge, but there are other allied and auxiliary services that will complement your work to be able to fully discharge your duties that are under a certain direct, control of a higher body.
What are the things that are standing in your way?
One is for me. One is the police service. Look, in all the problems that you are having in Accra, police visibility and ensuring that they are everywhere and working and taking full charge of security and all other things will resolve the problem. Okay. Under the road traffic regulation, LI 2180, are you aware that the police administration is fully in charge of decongestion? The police administration is fully in charge of all these things that we are talking about. That's why I took a stroll and I went to see the police regional commander. And I reminded him that managing the city is a shared responsibility. We have had the media, some of them criticizing us, some of us also applauding the things that we are doing. But we believe that they are doing their work. The police also must assist us also to discharge our duties.
So basically the police are not doing their work, and it's making your work very difficult.
I wouldn't say they are not doing their work, but I do not think that they are complementing our effort in a way that you will know that you are fully in charge of the city.
What do you want them to do?
Let me ask you a question. We are coming to do decongestion, and what we use is we used some boys that we recruit from town. We call them Abaye boys. These are not professional boys. They are not trained. They are not signed up properly, and they go to town before you realize with batons and things. They are chasing the women around left, right, center. But you know that a policeman or woman with his uniform alone would also scare you off from doing any bad thing in that area. And that's the kind of thing we want to encourage. If you go to South Africa today, the city of Pretoria or Johannesburg, the mayor there is in charge of the police services. You have the Metropolitan Police fully in charge to do all this work.
We have about 3 minutes to wrap up this conversation. Let me just find out.
Let me talk about the house numbering.
Yeah. You mentioned, because you mentioned the things that are standing in the way, because we want to see the AMA succeed. We want to have a clean city.
I know from your heart.
Yeah, we want to have a clean city. We want our children, our parents, whoever, to be healthy in this country. But the police is standing in your way. That's one.
I didn't say the police.
I mean, let me put it this way: it's a challenge for you.
Exactly.
The fact that the police are not complementing your efforts enough. What other thing is standing in your way and making it difficult that will not help us achieve what the president wants to achieve?
What other thing is standing in my way is the fact that the city dwellers have not come to the realization that you have to pay for the refuse that you generate.
But we are paying.
You are not paying.
Really?
When I come to Mokola, and you come to Okanshi, the people are not paying.
Why?
And that's the major problem. One of the things is that the shop owners believe that the hawkers also around there are also generating waste, and they are not paying well, so why should they also pay? So I have had a meeting with Guta. They had expressed interest now to come back to pay, but their problem is that how, we have not finished with the modalities of how they should pay on it. But the point is that we should come to the realization that you should be responsible for the waste that you generate, and you should pay for the waste that you generate. Once you do that, look, just about a month ago, we've procured 3 additional huge trucks. We've procured 2 compaction trucks also, and procured some motorcycles. The 2 compaction trucks and the motorcycles are being used for what we call rapid response, and they started work today on certain ceremonial roads where they will work during the day and make sure that if you find filth there, they are going to collect the filth from there. But the waste that you generate in the market, the waste that you generate from your house, you should be able to pay for it.
People are paying
you
to Zoom Lion.
But people are not paying. Zoom Lion. Let me also explain to you, Zoom Lion is not the only service provider that we have. Okay. We have about 15 service provided.
So where do all of that money go?
Let me explain to you. We have 15 service providers, and then divided Accra into 11 zones. So in a place like Ablekuma, North Someto, which is Odoko, Kwashiman area, the company there is called Asadu. If you go to Dansoma area, you go to the Liberty Waste there. These are not Zoom Lion. These are all companies. Right. And what AMA is saying is that the polluter must pay for the waste that you generate. Unfortunately, we are not paying. And I want you to add your voice to it so that people will become conscious of the fact that the waste that you generate, you must pay for the service. As I speak to you,
and that's where the confusion is.
The amount of money that we owe the service providers is mind-boggling.
Okay, hold on. When you say that people are not paying, people know that they're paying. I know I'm paying. I know people who are paying. So is it that the money is not coming to you? Or when you say pay, people are not paying, I don't understand.
What I'm saying is that you are not paying is that, I don't know where do you stay?
Spintex.
You stay at Spintex. Spintex is not, it's also another problem. Spintex is not AMA. And let me give you clear demarcation of AMA. Because things happen. You can take this picture maybe at 37, and then you blame AMA. 37 today is not part of AMA. Airport, that is the city, is not part of AMA. After Legon campus, it's not. Accra Mall is not AMA. No, the point I was using where I live to make was that I'm paying. I'm also trying to educate the general public on AMA's jurisdiction, so that when we are being judged, because I have seen some pictures which are not AMA jurisdiction, but we are the mother of all assemblies. So when somebody is talking, sometimes you also call your colleague at the other assembly that, look, there's this problem in your area. Please try and help us. So the payment is that let's try as much as possible to encourage our people. And that's why I said that very soon we are coming to distribute litter bins to your house. Okay. When you have a litter bin in your house, which is marked and tied to your house, then we'll make sure that. And then also, because the problem is that our houses are not numbered, so we are unable to identify the properties and link it to the property owners. Okay. And under the lab too, it ended up with only the street naming. As I speak to you, I have submitted a proposal to the Minister for Works and Housing that we want to make sure that we get a loan guarantee to be able to. And if you want a loan guarantee, then it means that you need a approval from the minister. Once the minister approves of it, hopefully by next year, we should be able to start the house numbering. Because with the house numbering, AMA has done so much that we have done what we call geocoding. All the houses here, including this property, we have numbered it and it's on our database. And we want to make sure that we affix the plates here so that you know that this is your house number. There's a major problem. We still use the Akoshi Junction and Konami. And the Coco Seller.
I know that very well. But unfortunately, we've run out of time. So before we let you go, let me find out from you what other plans apart from sanitation. Sanitation is a big deal. We've dealt a bit with it. But what other plans does the AMA have so that we can track you as we go along?
Thank you very much. And I think that it is very important. And I appreciate this particular conversation so much. That one other plans that, in fact, as part of it, you want to also green the city and beautify the city. So hopefully by next month, we should be able to start our greening areas from the Art Center, the Old Parliament House Road to the area. In fact, where our office location even is, you can't even find a space to park your car over there. So we are even discouraging a lot of people even from coming to AME. I'm not excited about that one.
That's because the mayor's cars are so many.
I'm using 2011 car, which was bought by my predecessor. That's what I'm using.
Please
I go to servicing every week.
Please finish the point you were making.
Thank you very much. So that's what we're doing. So we want to we are building a new office that will, give us an ambience and a place that befits the city authority.
Where will that office be, please?
The office is at Kimbu.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of this month, by the end of the year, we should have a new office building that we can also transact our business also over there. We want to make sure that our markets are also managed professionally. One of the major problems we are confronting, because all the markets are in Accra, but they are not also managed in terms of revenue collection, in terms of waste management, in terms of cleaning, and that's where we want to make sure that hopefully by the end of the year, we have a very, good management team also at our markets to ensure that we do all these things, and hopefully at the end of the year we'll have a very clean city. And be assured that the clean city agenda is a process. The question is that, are we on course?
Okay.
We are indeed on course.
In your assessment,
but the challenges ahead of us, I also must admit that there are also many challenges ahead of us.
You mentioned that the AMA is owing service providers, sanitation service providers. Sure. How much?
Oh, we are owing them a lot.
How much?
A lot.
How much? Millions? Billions?
Oh, of course, millions.
How much?
A lot. I can't give you because there are many and a lot of money.
Roughly, we're owing like?
It's a lot of money.
How are you going to pay?
Well, we have to pay from. Sometimes we have. I'm discussing it with the Minister for Local Government to also assist us. Okay. But we indeed have to pay from our own resources that we generate. And one of the problems that we are confronted, we are not generating enough. So another area that I'm looking at is using technology to improve our revenue mobilization. Okay. And hopefully by the end of the year, we have to automate all our revenue mobilization schemes so that the leakages and the proliferation must also stop.
We'll see how it goes. So you have a lot of plans for the end of the month and the end of the year, and we'll be sure that we'll be here to track you and to help you remember the promises that you made, you and your president. And
I'll also be expecting you that once you get the platform, also just educate Ghanaians also to be more responsible about the environment whilst you are tracking that.
Are you optimistic you will succeed?
I am very optimistic.
After coming in, people usually say that after we got in, we realized that the problems were bigger than we thought. Have you had that realization? Have you been there?
I have lived in Accra throughout my life. I was born and bred in Bukom, Zongo Lane. These are areas that I have lived in, so I know the problems.
All right, and you're very optimistic that you succeed. We hope that you succeed. We wish you all the best.
We hope that we succeed.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Accra must be clean. Mohammed Adjei Sowah is mayor of Accra, and we've had him in the studio for quite a lengthy time. I think about 30 minutes. That's good, isn't it?
It is.
Okay. Thank you very much for passing through. We hope that when we call on you next time, you make the time to come.
And make it a point that I walked here.
We called you and we brought you here. Okay. Well, away from that, President Akufo-Addo is yet to arrive in Denkyor as part of his 5-day tour of the central and western regions. My colleague Ohim Interior has been in the town since morning and reports that assembly members in Upper Denkyor West have also joined calls for the reinstatement of the suspended district chief executive Daniel Appianin. Chiefs and people of Denkyor were the first to make the call and are hopeful that the visit of the president will yield positive results.
We support the call 100% because his absence has caused the district a lot. In the first place, assembly members cannot meet because once assembly members meet, there must be TNT for them. Most of them are not gainfully employed. So if you invite an assembly member who is doing virtually voluntary work and you don't pay the TNT, how will you be able to call him next time? You will not even attend that meeting. We don't have TNTs for the assembly, so we have not had any meeting. There has not been any meeting since the suspension of the district chief executive. All subcommittees have been able to meet, but we have to go attend an executive meeting to collate all that was discussed at the subcommittee meetings. And that's the executive committee meeting is chaired by the district chief executive. So his absence is not making it possible for us to meet.
So when you say it has caused you a lot, you mentioned only meetings. Is that what you call the detriments of his absence?
No, if there is no meeting, assembly members cannot put their views across. You know, we need development. Some people need school buildings. You go to my place like this in Colombia, the KG block is a temporary wooden structure. We need to maintain it. But since it's not there, who is going to take your view? Even if you have anything about a community, you cannot present it to who?
Well, Ohiming has been there. He's also been speaking with the Deputy Regional Minister. We'll be getting to Ohiming in a bit, but let's hear the Deputy Minister first.
Let me say that Upper Denchira has been our stronghold over the years. Since 1996, we've held this seat, and we felt it necessary to be here to thank the people of Denchira for voting for the MPP every year, and that's why we are here.
And why not any other community than Denchira Obuasi? Because we have Diaso, the district capital, and several other communities where the president could have visited.
Thank you very much. During our campaign in 2006, the president visited Denchira Obuasi, and honestly speaking, because of what happened, the late Major Mahama, he was lynched here, and we felt that let's bring the president here, at least for the president to see what really happened over here. That's why we brought the president. We are bringing the president here.
Okay, before the president visit, there are being calls from especially the opposition parties calling on the president, the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, to visit this community. Is it a way to say that the president is succumbing to these pressures?
No, not really. The program was planned by myself and my regional minister. We felt that it is important that the president visit the place. And when we sent to the Flagstaff House, the president said, yeah, I will be here. The president has done his bit. The president visited the family at the Burma camp. He did all that he could. And for us, I think that whatever the president has to do, he's done that. And I remember when the parents visited Central, when they visited Denchira Obuasi, they appreciated what the president has done so far, and they spoke to us that they appreciate it. So we also conveyed it to the president.
Well, Mr. Penning, the DC was suspended for comments regarded unguarded following the murder of Army Officer Major Maxwell Mahama in May this year. Let's go now to the place and speak with Ohiming Terrier live. Hello, Ohiming.
Hello, Gifty.
We can hear very much from your background and actually see that the people are gearing up for the president. Has the president arrived at this point?
Not yet. The president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is yet to arrive at the Durban grounds here at the Denchira Obuasi. But I must say, the people here, the chiefs and the people of the Denchira Mine, or to say Denchira Traditional Council, are enjoying themselves to this traditional drumming and dancing. They are being entertained all over, and I can see several groups of these traditional drummers and dancers are here to entertain the people. Behind me is the days prepared specifically for the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to speak to the people. But as you can see, I've seen the team, that is the advanced team, already arriving here at the Durban grounds. This year, I must say, speaking to residents within this district, they see today's visit as very, very, very important, and they want to take part in today's event, irrespective of the challenges. And that is how come this particular Durban ground has been filled to capacity. Chiefs from the Denchira Traditional Council are here in their numbers, and I've seen also MPP supporters clad in their party paraphernalia are all here to also witness this event. And to top it all, security is very, very tight here at the Durban ground, where the president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is expected to speak to the people. And I've also picked word that the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Obedakwa, is also in the district. I'm not sure whether he's part of the president's entourage, but indeed I've seen the military chopper that brought him down to this district, Gifty.
Well, Ohime, let me find out before I let you go what the level of expectations are. People are calling for the reinstatement of the DCE. Well, have you met the DCE himself? Has he been around? And what's the level of expectation that he'll be reinstated?
For Honorable Daniela Apianin, who was suspended in June this year for his unguarded comments, ran up to the death of Major Maxwell Mahama. I've not seen him anywhere in the district. All I do know is that the residents within the district, especially assemblymen, have been calling for his reinstatement, and they expect President Akufo-Addo to make pronouncement on whether or not the DCE will be reinstated or not. So therefore, the residents of Upper Denkyira West and Upper Denkyira East, yes, I'm saying Upper Denkyira East because some of the people are from Upper Denkyira East, with their capital being Dunkwao. They are here to also support their counterparts in the Upper Denkyira West. And for those in Upper Denkyira West, they expect nothing more, less than the president making a pronouncement that indeed the DCE for the Upper Denkyira West District, Daniel Apianin, who was suspended in the aftermath of the death of Major Maxwell Mahama, has been reinstated. And they also believe that the president's visit will give some kind of relief to the people, because all these were the people of especially the Nshobwase have been living in fear for their lives. Don't forget, a day after the military major was lynched, the military officers were here in their numbers, and that led to many of them fleeing this community, with this community becoming a ghost town. So for us to see this large number of people here in the community, it tells you how much the people pay so much respect to the president. They believe that the president's visit will give some sort of relief to the people, because they expect the president to speak on their behalf, to also ask the military to stop attacking or harassing the people. I must say, ever since the military stormed this community a day after the lynching, I haven't seen any military officer or reports of the military brutalizing or harassing the people here. But the people still live in fear that one day, the military officers will be here to harass them. So they expect the president to make a pronouncement, and the pronouncement will give some sort of relief and happiness to the residents of the Nshobwase.
Thank you very much, Ohime. We'll come, if we are still on air, but by the time the president arrives, we'll be sure to cross over to you for some more updates. Ohime Interior there in Nshobwase, where you saw there's a very huge debate there waiting for the president. Now,